we have a podcast.
Diving deep into all things Texans, both on and off the field. Here's Sean Pendergast and Pro Football Hall of Famer, the General, John McClain. Welcome to Houtopia.
Well, before we get into some of the odds on some of the awards, because I think that's indicative, too, of some of the maybe stocked up aspect of the Texans right now, Jalen Pitre should be coming back this week. John, how important is that for the Texans this weekend against the Steelers and overall for the coming season?
Well, I think it is overall. They didn't miss him in the game Sunday. You know, Eric Murray and M.J. Stewart, the backup safeties, they've made big plays in the first two games that have forced turnovers. And but it'll be first time they've had Pitre and Ward, their starting safeties, at the same time, and they'll need them. You know, Steven Nelson has played really, really well.
He's been good
at corner.
Yeah.
And Nick probably should have given him a bigger raise. He's going to know he's going to play like this. And I thought the backup, Shaquille Griffin, played well. They didn't look like against Jacksonville, at least, like they missed Derek Stingley Jr. and Tavier Thomas. We don't know when those guys are going to be back. We don't know when Laramie Tunsil is going to be back. They were acting like he's going to play, but D'Amico said something in one of his interviews last week about Tunsil, and I thought at the time, that's strange, but I thought he was coming back, that he had an issue, and I think he said something like he took care of it or we took care of it, and that makes me think, was there some kind of procedure done on his knee? And if that's the case, he might be out another game or two, but not worried about IR. The best thing about this game is when it's over, I'm guessing they're going to get Titus Howard back. I'm guessing they're going to get Juice Scruggs back. And I've watched Jarrett Patterson super slow motion now every game, and I think he's played pretty well. Will they keep him at center? Will they move him left guard? Will they put Juice Scruggs back at center? Will Josh Jones go to left guard? But they need those linemen back, and they are coming off their best game. It's weird when you see a team rush 86 yards and 3.3 a carry, and you're like, wow, that's great.
Boy, yeah, they were a real juggernaut in the run game with 86 yards. But, they did enough, John. They had a few negative plays in the run game, but I thought towards the end of the game they ran it when they needed to. It was a couple hard, tough run plays by Dameon Pierce that set up the 3rd and 3 that was the deep shot to Tank Dell. If it's 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 11 on that series, you're probably not doing play action deep shot to Tank Dell. So if they can, I'm not expecting them to run for 150 yards, but if they can just stay ahead of the chains, it's pretty evident right now they've got a quarterback that can move the ball through the air. And it's really, really good, John, most importantly, on third down. C.J. Stroud is first or second in damn near every category in the NFL on third down. Yards, touchdowns, yards per attempt, no turnovers. He's been excellent on have-to-have-it downs for this team. And along those lines, John, odds check. C.J. Stroud is the new favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL for the 2023 season, plus 250. This is where I would queue up Kool and the Gang celebration right now if I had a DJ sitting here right next to me. Yeah, 3 weeks in, Stroud's the favorite.
Bijan Robinson struggled, as did the Falcons in that game they lost, and Stroud has played great. He's exceeded everybody's expectations. And a lot of people around the league don't realize. They say, well, the Texans missed 4 starters in the offensive line, and 3 of those guys weren't supposed to be starting to begin with. So it's remarkable what he's doing. They're doing a great job coaching him. He mentioned all 4 coaches, Bobby Slowick, Gerard Johnson, Shane Day, Bill Lazor, the last 2 senior offensive assistants with a lot of experience. They all have a hand in it. And I was glad to see Stroud give them some love, but his personality continues to blow me away. How mature, level-headed, cool he is. And when he talks, he's not going to stand up in front of a room and command the room. But when you listen carefully to what comes out of his mouth, he's just so impressive.
Very much so. I think that's how he commands a room. He doesn't do it with an over-the-top personality, but he says incredibly intelligent and thoughtful things. John, if you had $100, which of these bets would you place? Because here are the odds that involve the Texans. Texans, 8-1 to win the division. D'Amico Ryans, 22-1 to win Coach of the Year. So you'd win over $2,000 if you hit that one. CJ Stroud, I just mentioned, 2.5 to 1 for Rookie of the Year. Tank Dell's on the board. He's 6th on the board for Rookie of the Year, John. Offensive Rookie of the Year, 16 to 1, Tank Dell. Or Will Anderson, who's 2nd on the Defensive Rookie of the Year board at 7.5 to 1. I'm giving you $100, John. Which of those bets are you placing?
Anderson being one of the top 2, and he and Jalen Carter. Carter is going to get it already because he gets so much attention playing for an unbeaten team in a big media market that gets a lot of national attention and plays national games. Will Anderson doesn't. So even though he's one of the top 2 and went into the season as the favorite, I would say Stroud has a better chance because he's a quarterback. You don't see many quarterbacks winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, and you don't see receivers very seldom. But so that's why if I had $100 to bet on any of them, the one I think is the surest thing would be Stroud. But the one that's a long shot, if they were to win the division, D'Amico's going to be Coach of the Year, maybe Coach of the decade.
Yeah, he's 8th overall on the board right now for Coach of the Year. So this win has garnered the Texans and CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans a lot of attention with the folks in Vegas.
Well, they deserve it. They may be this time next week. We may talk about him getting hurt or getting sacked 5 times, but this week they've gotten a lot of well-deserved attention in a lot of places, and I'm happy for them because they worked hard to get that recognition.
You and I are going to obviously preview the Steelers coming to town in the next episode where we kind of lay out all the storylines for the game. But what are your early thoughts as you've started to kind of examine this? I'd imagine you watched the Steelers on Sunday Night Football against the Raiders. They seem to at least get a little bit of consistency going offensively, whereas Kenny Pickett through the first 2 games had been maybe the worst quarterback in all of football.
He looked better. They still could have lost that game. Man, Raiders blew a chance to at least tie it and force overtime, and they Josh McDaniels made a terrible coaching decisions, a lot of bad coaching decisions over the weekend. And I thought still it's the pass rush. When I look at George Fant and Josh Jones at tackle, let's see now, TJ Fant, who's going to get the edge there? Alex Highsmith, who's going to get the edge there? They've got some injuries, but George Pickens, he can catch the ball deep. Their running game, they've got a 2-headed monster, but they're not intimidating. The only intimidating thing they got right now are their pass rushers. And so Stroud, again, is going to have to get rid of the ball, but he's coming off a game with no sacks, 4 hits, 3 by Josh Allen, and he's going to have to get the ball out, and it's going to have to be fast, and it's going to have to be accurate.
I picked them to win this game before the Jacksonville game, John. You know that. I said the Texans' first win of the year is going to be against Pittsburgh at home on that J.J. Watt Sunday. So I got to stand by that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. We'll get your prediction later in the week. I know you got to go in the lab with all your Goodwill Hunting with all your equations on the board and things like that and figure out who it is you're going to take in this thing.
It'll take me about 1 second.
Okay. Well, I think I know where this is going. Save it for Thursday. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you want to see more of our videos, be sure to check out our playlist and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social media to stay up to date on our latest updates. Links are in the description. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.